At large tonight, this Independence Day weekend, Vice President Joe Biden making a surprise visit to Iraq in a show of support for our troops and to push Iraq to move forward with a new government. Good evening. I'm Judge Jeanine Pirro. Geraldo has the night off. We begin tonight with David Piper, who filed this report from Baghdad.
Hi, Jeanine. Vice President Biden's latest trip to Iraq seems to have two missions: to celebrate the 4th of July with the troops and also perhaps help the Iraqi leaders sort out their differences. The Vice President hasn't visited Iraq since March's inconclusive election here, but Iraqi politicians haven't managed to sort out their differences and form a new government. As the politicians here squabble, the militants seem to have been trying to fill the vacuum by launching daily attacks on the Iraqi security forces. There is also the concern that the political uncertainty could continue into August, when all but 50,000 US troops are sent to leave by the end of that month. The Vice President, who is being accompanied by his wife, has been the point man on Iraq for the Obama administration, having visited here several times. He's already had meetings with US Ambassador to Iraq Chris Hill and the top American military commander in Iraq, General Ray Odierno. The Vice President is also likely to meet with all the major political leaders here in Iraq. Back to you, Jeanine.
Will the Vice President be able to get the Iraqis to step up? Sara Carter is the national security correspondent with the Washington Examiner, and she joins us from our D.C. bureau. Sara, what's it going to take to get them to step up?
It's going to take a lot of effort on the part of Vice President Biden. We've been pretty much hands-off with their internal political situation for quite a while now in Iraq. But, with the drawdown date looming and just 50,000 troops being left, I think this administration really wants to see the Iraqi government push forward and solidify something. So Biden, I believe this trip is the most important issue for him right now, is to move the process forward. And hopefully he'll be able to do that. It's going to be very difficult, though. It's not going to be easy for him to do this. Obviously the sectarian differences run deep, and he'll have to make some type of concession. And also he could just say, make a point of saying, you know what, you haven't solidified us yet. Give us this, and we're going to be your ally. We're going to stick with you. So.
Right. Well, kind of shifting to Afghanistan now that we have General Petraeus over there, the question now is what's going to happen with our Afghan strategy? Is that going to change a lot now that McChrystal is out?
I don't believe the strategy will change much, but what will change is that I believe General Petraeus will take a very close look at the rules of engagement. He's already made that perfectly clear during the hearings, and these rules of engagement, which were much more stringent under McChrystal to try to lessen civilian casualties, is something that he's going to take a close look at how commanders are implementing those rules on the ground. As some of those rules, the troops believe put their lives at risk. I was out there last October with the troops. I spent more than a month with them. I'm heading back out again this year. There were a lot of difficulties for the troops on the ground.
But Sara, it's interesting. A lot of the troops have been openly contemptuous of this whole issue regarding the rules of engagement. But this is something that the Obama administration has basically embraced. And what we're saying is that the military is at risk because there is so much concern for the civilians in Afghanistan to reduce the number of civilian casualties that maybe we're taking greater risks with our own soldiers.
That's right. You're 100% right on, Jeanine. When I was out there with our troops last October, this was a big issue, a story I wrote about actually on these rules of engagement, where we were on a mission, and one of the rules is that you have to warn the villagers before you go in that you're going to be going into the village. And, by that time, the insurgents flee. They've moved the weapons.
Of course.
Also, you can't go into the village unless you're accompanied by Afghan army or police. And a lot of times they just never showed up. So there's a lot of issues that our troops are facing over there, and I really think that General Petraeus is going to take a close look at this.
Well, I
Whether
think he's
he'll
going to
change
have to,
those,
Sara.
I don't know.
I think he's going to have to. I think that the military is really very upset about this. But Sara, thank you for your report.